Hi guys, another sunset pour we're going to do today, and this one colors are listed at the end of the video, and this is a 12 by 24 gallery wrapped canvas. So another big one, and also this is 6 flip cups. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's pretty it's a big boy, but these little cups are like 3 ounces each, and these are my favorite cups to do most of my pours because I don't like to do everything just out of one big cups usually. I feel like you get a lot more effects when you use more little cups, and you'll see why when we do the flip cups. So my initial idea for this piece was at the bottom to load all of the darker colors in, and that's why you saw me use black and bronze and some of the sepia and, you know, the darker colors. The middle, I wanted to use more of the golds and yellows and oranges, and then the very, very top of it, of this painting, I wanted to use the lighter colors, and so that's why you see me use a lot of gold up there. It's 24 karat gold by Deco Art, and Indian yellow, which is, you know, one of my favorites, and then the iridescent Arteza sunburst yellow, and a little shot of the cloud mix in all of the colors. And the cloud mix is my special mix of Deco Art Satin Enamel White with Artist Loft White and a little bit of a Liquitex Pouring Medium, like a little squirt. And once you flip those over, just pull them back and watch the magic begin. Now, if I wanted this to be really dark, I probably shouldn't have added so much white in there. I did put white at the bottom of every single cup, I think. And part of the reason why I'm going opposite, you can see that I'm pulling, you know, forward and back and forward and back, is that you're gonna get different lines depending on which way you go. So if I took all the cups and I lined them all up the same, and then I pulled all of them towards me or all of them away from me, I would get the same kind of movement basically with each one. Now, one thing I decided was I didn't like that a lot of the warmer colors got erased, or I guess modeled with that white and mixed in, and a lot of the darker colors I felt, the super dark, like I did put black in there, and I put sepia. So I'm using just some of the leftovers from the cups first of all, because it adds a lot of interest, little, you know, mixed lines. And then if there's any color that I'm just really missing, like that poppy red up there, I really wanted some more of that to shine through, then you can just add it. And I have plenty of paint on here, so it's not really about adding more paint. At this point, I really just am trying to get more of these particular colors, like this black. I wanted a little bit more to come through. So one of the keys to this whole scenario is not tilting back and forth in different directions very sharply. If you want to hold on to some of your patterns and some of the lines, you want to make it a goal, basically, not to sharply tilt all to the left really fast and then all to the right really fast and all to the left really fast and all to the top really fast. You can see, like, this is sped up about 8 or 9 times, and I'm still going pretty slow, and it's one of the reasons why I'm able to keep a lot of the pretty patterns that I want to keep, because Eventually, yes, I mean, I still have to get the paint off, but you can see like I'm still gently moving. I'm returning the center of gravity of the paint back to the beginning place and then going the opposite direction. This has allowed me to keep a lot of those striations of the flip cups and a lot of the patterns. And so you see now really most of the sides are covered at this point. I know you can't see that, but this was heavy with paint, but oh, there's a little glimpse of the sides right there. Now you see the sides are completely covered, so I could actually stop, but I can't stop because I have too much paint on there. So maybe 5 flip cups would have been better for this. Or I could have painted the sides. There's other ways I could have done it. Now, after all that talk about going back and forth, what happened, see how those lines on the left right there, they're kind of getting jagged? Well, what happened was the push pin that I used to support one of the canvas, one of the sides of the canvas, it fell off. So in my attempt to fix it, I ended up going back and forth very jaggedly after all my conversation with you about not doing that. But it's actually a good learning point because you can see what happens when you do. So I was moderately unhappy with the bottom part of this. To me, this pour was just very average looking, and I thought, what if I could marry some warm colors with some cool colors? And one way to do that is just a swipe. So, you know, a swipe's kind of a safe bet in terms of if you really want to add some interest, some movement, some color. I don't like to do swipes that are totally, you know, it's just straight up and down. I really like to give it some movement. So I usually move my, that's just a piece of plastic. I just use plastic. You can pretty much use anything you want. But when the swipe looked like it really had too much white, I added more of that blue color, and that white was just kind of overtaking everything. What I realized in this painting and what was happening for me was just a lot of the same tones. So the tonality of the painting, meaning it's just the same color tone-wise. So I guess what I'm saying is a lot of medium tones. I'm not getting a lot of super white brights and yellows and a lot of deep, rich, dark tones. They're all kind of muted, similar tones right here in the center. So this is, you know, one way I was trying to fix that was by doing the swipe. And I'm still not happy with the swipe. So I'm happy with the top part of the painting. I think it's pretty and I want to just leave it. So I don't mess with that part at all. But I'm trying to marry these two warm and cool sides of the canvas together. And of course I'm doing my balloon rolls. This is just a glove that's been blown up, and all the fingers have been tied off. And then I just put my thumb inside of the thumb and I roll my little balloons. I would just call it a balloon, but I think a balloon is really hard to hold on to, so I always use my glove. If you can believe it, this glove has been blown up for, I would say, 8 months or something. So I just happened to find it. But I'm gonna go, here's a close-up of, and in real time, kind of what that looks like. I'm just trying to add the impression of flowers right here. Now you can do this a lot more calculatedly if you like. I'm adding white and black here because I'm just not getting, like I said, I'm not getting a lot of tones of depth. And part of that is there's a lot of paint on this canvas right now. So the more times you go over it with a balloon, the more muddy it gets. until you get to a point where it's just very, very muddy. And I was definitely fearing that at this point, but kept going. For any of you who have watched my channel before, you know that I like to keep going and I like to push the envelope and just see what I can create. And this is the point where I'm thinking, well, maybe I could draw all of these flowers around the canvas, around the left side. And then I just realized it's just too much. It's too muddy. And I still don't have those deep tones that I'm looking for. So I just go ahead and add, this is a golden Prussian blue and an emerald from Color Art. And that, my friends, is what did it for me. Now I feel like I have some of those depths in there. And you know, your painting should have high tones, it should have depths. It should have interest and movement, and it should have composition. And if you don't know what those things mean in terms of fluid art, you should, because I do see a lot of fluid art that's beautifully done, but without some of those things in mind. So a lot of times there's just something about the painting that doesn't work, but we don't know why. Think about all of these concepts when you're painting, even fluid art. You should be thinking about these things. It's not just necessarily just pour paint from a cup and then, you know, take it off your canvas and then be done with it. And you should really be thinking about all of these things as well. So I'm just using my finger, picking up some paint from the table there and adding some of that blue. I'm adding up into those flowers. I want to do that because I feel like it brings the blue upward, it brings your eye upward, and it kind of marries those together. And the gold will continue to come out of the bottom there a little bit, and that'll help marry the top. So I'm doing pretty good. I don't have too much paint on this painting right now, and I feel pretty sure it will not crack. I want for just 1 second to also mention we have the most beautiful show coming up. Did you know that Sandra, Le, and I run Art Healing Hearts auctions? We help artists sell their work on Facebook. We've helped them sell $20,000 worth of art already, you guys. The Floral Show is the next show that's coming up, and it's an exclusive show with just 3 artists, Kimberly Dean, Susan Card, and Dana Marie. Look at the examples of the work. I'm so excited. So it's Art Healing Hearts auctions on Facebook, and it's August 18th and 19th. This is a special guest florist, floral artist show. And if all you have to do is look in the description box, and there's a link to Art Healing Hearts auctions. So we're really proud of what we're doing there, and this is just going to be a really amazing show. So if you're a collector or you just want to go support the artist, please show up on Facebook that day, and we would love to see you there. So back to this painting, I'm going to say that I, at this point, feel pretty confident because, you know, most paint dries a little tiny bit darker than the original, and so I know that some of those pretty deep blues and greens that you see down there are really going to come through. They have like a very watery effect almost, and I can see something that looks like the sunset in the background. I see flowers. I naturally see stems maybe a little bit, so I just decide to play around. This is kind of the part where you should be just having fun, and don't be afraid to mess around in there a little bit, because, you know, fluid art is very, very forgiving, and I think people get kind of caught up in the exacting nature of it, but it should be fluid, it should be fun, and it should feel good to just play around. So I definitely was excited to see how this one turned out. Now I want to tell you a funny story really quick. I wish I could have filmed this, but you know, I was on my way to work. In the morning, after I put this painting to bed, in the morning, a little fly had gotten its way in the painting. And, you know, it wasn't quite dry yet. Like, the whole painting was almost dry, and there was this little part that a fly had gotten in and was stuck and had died. Poor, you know, rip fly. But I was able to dig it out and repair the painting, and you cannot see the difference at all. You can literally not see it. You cannot see where it was, and I'm just so proud of myself. I felt like the consummate professional. I think it was just because the paint was just slightly still, you know, damp in that area, so I was able to add the exact same color right in that little area, and it kind of smoothed itself out as it dried. The Floetrol is self-leveling, so I lucked out. Let's just say I lucked out. Anyway, I didn't get a lot of wet visuals. I thought I was recording, so that's the best I got. It's pretty sad, but there it is. Look how pretty, and I really was excited with all the sparkles and how pretty this one turned out. And now here are the dried results, and I'm going to be able to show you that. Look how pretty it is. It really turned out just lovely, and it's sold already, so pretty happy about that. Okay, if you wanted to know what the colors were, here's a rundown of the colors that were used. Everything I did today was mixed with Floetrol. If it was a tube paint, and if it was a pigment, I mixed it with Oatrol. And because, you know, those pigments by Color Art, they're very thin, and so are the fluid acrylics by Golden. So anything that was a golden, I mixed with Oatrol and a little bit of Floetrol too. I didn't use any water in any of this stuff. So, but those were the colors I used, and then additional colors are listed right here. So thanks so much for joining me today. If you loved what you see on this channel, please give me a subscribe, or feel free to donate to this channel. Link is in the description box, and I can't wait to see you again. Thanks so much, you guys. All right, bye-bye. Don't forget to subscribe and hit all notifications so I can make more art videos just for you.